Hello everyone. It's been a while since I did a video like this. And there hasn't been much videos I've been posting anyway. As I've been moving, I had a surgery on my nose, so I could breathe through my nose. But I'm just talking in this video, yeah, I'm just talking. And what's really been bothering me is two videos, and Um, I did want to somewhat wait to be a little bit more fancy with all the camera setup and whatnot, but I'll just talk my thoughts on these two because the internet is the internet and people have their opinions regardless. Um, but I wanted to talk about um, uh, Dinah Jaxn. Well, I don't know her former unmarried name, but Dinah Jaxn, the lady that was married to the Derek Jackson, and there was a whole scandal and cheating and whatnot. I wanted to talk about her and a recent video of this man with the seven baby mamas and whatnot. And honestly, after the because I've really been, I just had a surgery and I was just looking at a bunch of junk, a bunch of trash. I'm just gonna call it trash on YouTube, because I couldn't really do much else. As I tell you, my face was hurting. My face hurts. But I had nose polyps. I had polyps in my nose, and I had those removed. It was really bad. Like my nose, it might not seem smaller to you, but I had to get these glasses refitted because these slide down because my nose is actually smaller than what it was because of these polyps. But anyways, uh, on to what I was going to talk about. And these are just going to be rambling thoughts. I hadn't really put any. I usually write all of my thoughts down and make sure they make sense, and then give cohesive thought. And and usually I pray over what I think, and ask the Lord to interject and provide me with wisdom before I get on the internet and start talking anyway. But today I'm just going to talk, and then, you know, if the Lord tells me something, or I'm given some wisdom by the Spirit of the Lord, I will most assuredly share it with you and say it. But for this, let's see, yeah, Dinah Jaxn. Dinah Jaxn. Okay, now I've only seen a couple of clips of her through the grapevine of YouTube and Facebook. And from what I don't know much. Now she has her own channel or Instagram, whatever it is. I'm not on the all of that because I don't really have time or care to be on all of that. And if you want to be on YouTube and grow your channel and all the brand and whatnot, you advertise yourself on all these different platforms, and I just don't really have the energy to care to. I'd probably go a lot farther in my channel if I did, but I don't. I don't really care for all of that. But anyways, Dinah Jaxn. Um, she, to me, um, it's being divorced and being and all of that. That's a hard thing for anybody to go through. It really is. And I'm not gonna speak on a person's marriage like that because it's just distasteful and there's really no need to. But I have seen a lot of people, just try to shame this woman and make fun of this woman, and that's typical of the black community in general. They have more negative to say than ever positive, and they're talking about the woman's hair and all of this stuff that really has no real merit or bearing on anything. It's just typical black people, black culture behavior and talking points when they really don't have anything to really contribute or say. They just attack your appearance and whatnot. But to me, from what I've seen, she's just being a goofy Christian lady that's bold enough to put it on the internet. and people are making content off of it, and she's made her own content off of it. And we all have that, though. As a Christian, you everybody gets that high, like when we're really hurting and the Lord comes to comfort us, and then we have this sense of empowerment from the Lord, and we're going to give our testimony, and we're going to do all these things for the Lord and whatnot. You're not a you If you haven't gone through that as a Christian, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I mean, really and truly. If you've never been, silly and goofy and had that, I'm going to call it a high of when, the Lord is with you and you feel empowered and emboldened and you're really in your word and all of that. If that's never happened to you, you're not doing Christianity right. If I want to say anything. But watch that get me in trouble somewhere. But I mean, I just think that she's bold enough to say it, and honestly, that woman is going to come out on top out of all after all of this and this divorce and everything that happened with her husband and whatnot. She's going to come out on top, just plain and simple. And I'm not going to speak on who's right or wrong in their relationship because I don't know, don't care to know. But I do know that anytime a person is bold enough to declare their relationship with the Lord publicly and do the kinds of skits and things in which she's doing, they're going to be just fine, regardless of what anyone else says. And more people should be bold enough to just be out there and share their pain. Like, as much goofy stuff is on the internet and as much things as people share about themselves, what's wrong with her sharing about herself and her experience and her love for God and what God is doing with her? I think that personally, just my personal opinion, she might be a little, you know, in the baby stage or immature stage of it all. And that's a fine. She started, as long as you start, and if that's where she's at, that's where she's at. And me personally, when I'm hurting or doing stuff, I do similar things that she has done. Do I post them on the internet? No. But calling her crazy and all of that, she's not. You know, she's just, publicly, whether she posted it herself or not, publicly going through the steps that, you know, a lot of Christians take in their spiritual walk with God. And that's it. That's all. That's really all I have to say for uh, Dinah Jaxn. Go ahead, and she's gonna be just fine about it. She's just, sharing those highs that you go through sometimes when you walk with God, and just being, goofy. And there's nothing really wrong with that. I don't see a reason to call her crazy or to shame her in any way for what she's doing. Now on to the baby, the guy with the 7 baby mama stuff. And I'm just gonna say here that a lot of this stuff that I have seen um, through the grapevine is really just through the Anton Daniels Millionaire Morning Show. Kind of a mouthful of all that. But I watch his channel sometimes and mostly for entertainment. Some of the financial stuff is actually really helpful if you're looking for that. Um, but that's really I saw a lot of this stuff. But and he even did an interview with this 7 baby mama guy. And you know what? I was a little disappointed when I saw his own personal interview for that. And like, I was like, okay, why aren't you holding this guy accountable at all for anything? And me personally, I wouldn't have chosen to make content. I think this was just him doing content for content's sake, because people with this type of mindset, this 7 baby mama mindset, that, they need to be crushed and stamped out. I'm not playing about that. I think we've given enough foolish people a voice and a soapbox that is the internet to stand on, and these kind of people need to be shooed into the corner in the dark reaches. Like, you have to dig to find these people, but these people and their craziness just keep popping up, and people are going to talk about it. And if we are going to talk about it, we need to be talking about how that this type of mindset and and those and the people that gravitate toward that mindset um, need to be addressed and corrected, and not just for views and entertainment, because that's really what it is about for most of these people that talk about this kind of stuff with the relationships and all that. It gets exhausting and it gets silly because it's really not leading to any real outcomes that are going to help people be better. It's just talking in circles. Um, but I just found the whole thing to be very ridiculous. Um, and if you agree with anything that the seven baby mama guy said, um, you are not going to be very successful in anything that you do, period. You're just not. You're going to probably be mediocre in life. That's it. It just is what it is. If you agree with anything that that guy said, you're just going to be mediocre. Um, and you'll probably live a life that's okay for you, but you won't really excel or exceed or be excellent in anything. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons as to why I kind of gravitate towards watching the Millionaire Morning Show, because I'm looking to be excellent. I'm looking to excel. I'm looking for to be superb, to be superior, to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel as though some people might not like Anton Daniels because for some people, he might come across as arrogant or better than them. And I'm sorry to say that some people are better than you. Some people are better than me, and in a number of different things, and we need that. How do you get better if you're always looking to look at someone that's doing just as good as you or worse? It doesn't work like that. Excel to be superior, excel to be um, greater than what you are, and which is what I try to teach my children. I always want to be the best at whatever it is that you do. Just period. It doesn't matter what it is. Be the best at it. Excel at it. Um, and that's how it should be. There's no real, and people always are trying to somewhat tear people down that are really just, I don't even know how I got on this. How on earth did I even get on this? Talking about the, what I think it kind of went way over wherever. But back to the baby mama guy. That's because that's what I was really talking about. How on earth did I get on that? Anyway, but yeah, now as far as the contraceptive, and then I offered to pay for abortion and this type of stuff, this comes out of ignorance. And you know being a woman, uh what makes people think that women want to insert themselves with a device, or take a pill every day, or go through that process of abortion, just for the sake of not having a child? What makes people think that it's the same as a contraceptive? It is not. Abortions are not the same as contraceptives. I, they're just not. It's a whole process. It is, so for some it's painful. It's a lot that your body has to go through. Your body is stopping the process of bringing forth life. What about that would be easy? And the birth controls type of things, they affect the woman's body as well, whether it's gaining weight or what have you. Some, and they don't always work, like inserting ourselves with things